Welcome back to another episode of the Buffalo Happy Hour. Michael, how you doing today? You doing all right? It is Wednesday, January what? Dude, it's almost over. January's almost over. What's going on here? It's the 25th of January of 2023. How did we get here?
Time passed.
What a great answer. They're necessary. Next question. What's up, bud?
A lot. What was that?
Sounded like a car.
Mm,
Was that like 97 or something or whatever you call your car out there?
no. Was that a car door?
No, it just sounded like somebody pressed the alarm button once or maybe honked to get someone's attention.
We have to.
I do have neighbors.
We got to edit this whole thing out.
No, we don't.
All right. Anyways.
None of this leaves.
Okay. Addie's, thank you so much for your logo. Queen City Creative Works, thank you for your continued partnership/sponsorship in pursuit of basically a bunch of kids trying to be millionaires, because that's all we try to do over here.
A bunch of kids.
Yeah. We're just a bunch of kids trying to be millionaires, dude.
You and I are a bunch of kids?
Yeah. Me, you, Queen City Creative Works, Addie's. We're just a bunch of kids trying to be millionaires, man. We don't know what the hell's going on.
Not wrong.
So, yeah, if you want to head over to QueenCityCreativeWorks.com, they're an Etsy shop on roids. Good friend of ours. They're located locally in Buffalo, in a quaint suburb. Head on over to their website, and then you can absolutely pick something up between coasters, water bottles, bottle openers, etc. And yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. So, and then Addie's, obviously, again, thank you so much for your logo. Second shout out, Derek. I don't switch to you. I don't think that is good to drink.
This has been in here for a while.
I would not drink that.
I'm just trying to find something else to drink because Woodford was trash.
This is why I'm drinking a neutral peach lemonade. Do you want a neutral?
You know what? Let's be neutral boys today.
All right, I'll grab you neutral.
What flavors we got? Neutral, sponsor of today's episode.
Oh my God.
If you want something, Jovman.
This thing is
Oh,
more.
no, this is Sweden.
This microphone is more limp than Stephen Hawking
Jesus.
post diagnosis. We have classic lemonade.
It's pronounced lemonade.
Well, we got blackberry.
Oh, throw me the black.
Wow. Wow. You ready? I don't even know if this is going to work. Oh, look at that skill.
Did you pour? You didn't pour it in your glass?
No. Ew.
You did. Why are we the way that we are?
I have no idea. Okay, so for also, in case you see Derek and I like not fully focused on the camera or anything, hey, come here. Come here. Come.
You're gonna press all the stop buttons.
We have a studio pup here today. So, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
So-
talk about it so I can message your sister-in-law and make sure that everything's good.
Okay, sounds good. So, thank you. That's a good boy, bud. Oh, he's the best. Okay. So, it's always been a dream of mine since I was a little boy to have a dog. Sure, right? Just like everybody else. American dream, white picket fence, single family home, wife, kid, dog, full-time job, whatever. I have a majority of all those things at this point in my life. Now, I know other local business owners that bring their dog to work with them every single day. Every day. And I'm jealous because my full-time job, I can't do that. And I would love to, because every morning when I wake up, I let him out, unless he sleeps in. I let him out, feed him, and then he watches me put my coat on and then grab my stuff, right? I say, I love you. I'll see you when I get home. And then I leave, and then I just watch him turn away from me and then go to the couch to lay down because mom's still sleeping, because I leave, well before the sun rises. So for me, it's really sad. And today is a Wednesday, And on Wednesdays, my wife works very late. So I worked 6 to 5. Well, today, technically, it was 7 to 5. So 7 a.m., 5 p.m.
What a slacker. You didn't get there till 7?
Listen. So I worked 7 to 5 today, and it was tough because my wife doesn't get home until, 7:30, 8 o'clock today, and he's been home all day. And I'm like, I'm over it. Like, screw that. So I look at him and I was like, let's go. So I put him in the car and I brought him here because it's just right.
Yeah.
I just feel awful leaving him as much as we do. Like, his life's too short.
So is this going to be like an every Wednesday thing? 'Cause I'm okay with it.
I mean, maybe. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. His life's so short. I just love him. And he's 6 now.
It's tough, dude. I know. Cleo's 7. It's a tough pill to swallow when your dogs start getting old, because then you start thinking about stuff and then you just immediately waterworks. I mean, this is never an easy topic. You just love them so much and you're like, bro, you're halfway done. Like, that's sad.
Yeah. And he is really well behaved. He doesn't really make any noise. He's
Right.
laying there licking himself, like.
Which is what I do too in the studio.
Right. So he's fine.
Yeah.
So he's laying on the floor right now. He's just chilling. So we got a studio pup. So I'm excited for it. But
When we eventually get like an actual studio, can we actually have the dogs there all the time?
duh.
Okay, good.
We have a useless fact to discuss, and it's real.
Why does this thing keep coming in and out?
What do
I'm
you-
nervous that things aren't catching.
What do you got? What's happening?
I don't know. I feel like your camera's been coming in and out. Yeah, like what's going on there? Why is this doing this? Does this actually come through the recordings? Because if it is, we got stuff to discuss. Black magic.
Well, while you do that, I'm going to pull up the useless fact because it is. Oh my God! No!
It's definitely useless. I'll tell you that much.
Don't start.
What?
They got rid of it.
What do you mean they got rid of it?
They got rid of it, Derek.
I don't know what that. Who's they?
Like the Book of Faces, bro.
They just
So
ended the story.
I opened it from our DM that I sent you, and it says the post has either expired or it may only be visible to an audience you're not in.
Oh, so they made it private.
Yeah. So I have the thumbnail of it, so I can still search it.
Yeah, search it.
Nabrak is what we're talking about today.
I think everybody knows immediately what you're talking about. You said Nabrak, and all of our listeners are like, for sure, I'm well versed in this story.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. Okay.
Is it fake news?
No.
Oh,
It's not fake news, but I searched Nabrak pants, and because technically they're pants, and there's like these overalls and different hunting pants, but it came up on Wikipedia, and okay. I'm going to explain what this is.
did you say our sponsors yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Was that a sleep-in?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Nabraks, it's a pair of pants from ancient Iceland, okay? Now, what this is, long story short, and then we're going to dive into it. It's almost like a ritual. You make this arrangement with a friend before you pass away.
So like you and I.
Yeah. When you pass away, they dig you up out of the ground and they basically fillet your skin.
Fillet?
Yeah, they like
cut open like a fish.
Yeah, it's like a fine, they take off a bunch of layers of skin from your hip down like a pair of pants, okay? Including the outline of the male genitalia.
Yeah, your best friend.
Yeah. Now, the person that does this, who's living, then grabs a stolen coin from a widow and places it in the scrotum. And then wears the skin as a pair of pants. Now, that's the long story short. Now the details of it, it's Icelandic witchcraft, and it's capable of producing an endless supply of money. It's highly unlikely these pants ever existed outside of folklore. The ritual for making them as describes as follows. You have to get permission from the living man to use his skin after his death. After he's been buried, you must dig up his body and flay the skin of the corpse in one piece from the waist down. As soon as you step into the pants, they will stick to your own skin.
Ew.
A coin must be stolen from a poor widow and placed in the scrotum along with a magical sign, Nabrakvskver,
So this widow.
which is written on a piece of paper, is a random widow,
so
bro.
it's not
No,
related
you're-
to the person that died.
And she's poor, so you're stealing from a poor widow.
I like how they throw that in. Like,
Yeah.
yo, you can steal from a widow, but she's got to be poor. Like, this has to be detrimental to her entire life.
So consequently, the coin will draw money into the scrotum so that it will never be empty as long as the original coin is not removed. To ensure salvation, the owner has to convince someone else to take ownership of the pants and step into each leg as soon as he gets out of it. The Negro pants will thus keep the money-gathering nature for generations. Why?
I have so many questions from here.
Here's the thing. There's been a lot of talk from scientists and non-scientists alike that have always said that humans are their own worst enemy. Like, we
for
are
sure.
a cancer on Earth.
We are the top of the food chain, and the only ones that are going to kill us are ourselves.
And, well, depending on what environment we're in, there's some ecosystems we're not top of the food chain. There's sharks that can kill us. There's mountain lions. You know, there's like a tiger can kill us. But yes,
Natural selection.
yeah, but we're also able to kill them. Obviously with technology, brains, whatever. Agree to disagree? No, I agreed. This is a prime example of why the human race is a problem.
100%. So, all right. First of all, impressive you can fillet me in one piece. Like, let's start there. Have you ever tried to actually fillet a fish? Like, not McDonald's Filet-O
No,
fish.
like clean a
We're talking
fish?
about, like, actually remove the skin from a fish. Have you ever done that before?
Yeah, I've cleaned fish my whole childhood when I went fishing.
It's not an easy process.
No, but it is, but it isn't. It depends on the blade. Because you make sure the fish is dead. So there's a billy club. You grab the fish, hit it in the head once, actually kill it.
We're not talking about murder here. We're talking about filleting them.
No,
after they're dead.
I know, but you cleaning the fish. You know, have you ever cleaned a fish?
Yeah, I've cleaned multiple fishes.
Well, right, yeah. So then you basically follow the spine, peel it off, and then you can just once it's flat. I mean, that's easy, bro. You get scales down, and then you just go right down, or leave the scales on.
But they're saying you're filleting a man's legs and genitalia that you can slip in. So you're filleting it in one piece to the point where it looks like pants when you're done.
This is so gross.
The circular aspect of that, like just trying to go around in one piece around a guy's leg, it's got to be tough.
So we're also not even talking about the point of, what if this occurred? Okay.
Yeah, because this is folklore, right?
Yeah. You slip in to the legs, and you're like, all right, like he had bigger legs than me. And then you
I
slip
gotta
in.
hit legs harder tomorrow.
Right. And then you slip in and you're like, good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
Like that's its own conversation.
Right.
Cause then, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot to think about.
Okay, so question for you. You slip in, okay, this might be, sorry everybody that knows us that is potentially related, because this is going to get a little bit weird, but imagine you're less than average. All right, we're not getting specific here, but you slip on somebody that's more than average. Are you packing that?
With what?
Like chicks did with tissues and
I was
when
gonna
you were a
say,
teenager.
yeah, what-
Like, are you packing that to
I gotta
then
fill the void. You know what I mean? I gotta fill the void. That's a good question.
Yeah, like honestly, what's your other option? Let it dangle like it's an unused part of a Magnum?
Well,
like,
hold
what
on.
are you doing?
What if you're trying to pick a woman up like Benjamin Franklin? right? And then winter finally came and nights are longer, so you can be with them.
Yeah, and there's just like this random.
There's the gap.
Yeah, you bought an
How-
extra large
but
when
yeah.
you're a small.
How do you explain the gap? You know what I mean? Like, how do you stand there as a man trying to be confident and they're just like, where is that guy? And you're like, oh, he's
Yeah.
dead. I'm wearing his skin. Like, how do you say that to a woman
Yeah.
and not ruin the mood?
And to that aspect, you can't take the pants off. So are you just constantly doing it with those pants on?
That is so. Am I just like, I'm doing it for you, bro? You're here with me? You know, that's almost, this is the grossest thing we've ever talked about.
I've gotten more girls wearing you than I have before. Like that's just a weird thing to occur. So this was all specifically to get money?
For generational wealth. Now, when you're trying to continue it on to the next generation, right? Like the third, well, technically the second wearer,
Yeah.
the third person that's involved in this insanity, you have the person, right? Now, what about the adverse? What about the next guy? So I'm wearing you, I die, I have somebody that agrees. What if they don't fit?
Are they bundling up like it's the Blizzard of 77? They're just putting layers on layers?
No, because when I pull my left leg out, his left leg goes in. When I pull my right leg out, his right leg goes in. It has to do that. That's what they said. That's what the ritual said, Derek. So now we're swapping leg for leg, right? And then I'm peeling off the front, like, here you go. Now, what if the person that I'm transitioning to, technically the third person, the second wearer
Yeah.
of your skin,
Yep.
what if there's not enough room?
That's what I'm saying.
You still got to make room for that coin.
Oh, you're talking about the male, not enough room.
Oh, I don't
the
care about
male
the pant.
aspect of
Yeah, I
it.
don't care about the thighs. I'm not talking about the thighs, bro. I'm talking about what counts, where the money is.
So do you cut a hole in the bottom to make room?
I don't know if you can do that because then the coin's going to fall out and the coin can't get disturbed. That's what the folklore said. So now what about the adverse? What if the second dude is bigger than the first wearer?
Is that why we're technically smaller now than we were back then? Because we've just been compacted and like restricted to this area. But like my thing
Speak
is,
for yourself.
so are you just like, okay, first layer is sweatpants, second layer is snow pants. Like, are you just bundling up to prepare for a snowstorm with this? Because if someone cuts your legs off because you passed away, but you were wearing me, that's technically 2 layers. I'm gonna get hot.
No, you don't layer up. It's just
But you do though because you're
it's
wearing
your
me.
skin. Yeah, but then he doesn't wear me. He wears you.
Why?
Because that's how it works.
He cuts you off though.
No. I give him your skin to
So
continue it.
it's just the original person
Yes.
keeps passed down.
Yes. So when I pull out my left leg, he puts his left leg in. That's what they're saying.
Okay.
Ew. What if it's June, bro? And then you're sliding into that moisture? Nah.
Or what if I died when it was colder, so things were shrunken? You know what I'm saying? Like in the summertime, things tend to elongate.
We need to add vodka to these neutrals because they're not strong enough for this conversation. These are only 4.5%.
This one slaps though. Blackberry lemonade's really good.
This is Bush League.
I love how Brittany was like, "This is a smiley face." I'm like, I never thought about that, but definitely going to use that from now on because it totally is.
I mean, yeah, it's an American take on a different language.
Back in this was in Norway though.
No,
that
it was
this happened?
Iceland.
Iceland. People were big back then though.
Where?
Everywhere. All aspects. They were just large humans.
Large and in charge.
So I assume that they never had an issue of like, this is too small for me.
I'm so glad I was born in 92. Wear my skin, bro. Like, that's legit Dahmer. So that's the useless fact of the day. That's Icelandic folklore. And if you're specific Patreon members, you might have known about this before we talked about it in today's episode. That was insane. That was an insane fact.
That was very weird. And you found that on Facebook or something? Something just popped up? Yeah.
Unfortunately, a dude that I went to school with shared it, and then the comments were hilarious. Like, nice hog, like all these different. It was so funny. But yes, that's the useless fact for today. Icelandic folklore. I don't even know what to talk about now. It's not. It has not been 15 minutes.
I mean, honestly, how do you follow that up? That's a real thing. How do you transition seamlessly from there? So I was at the grocery store the other day, and I saw this thing of salami, and I
about the
pulled the
bills?
skin off,
Ew.
and it was just like, whoa, this looks like it came from Iceland. I don't know where to go from here.
I never thought I'd have a useless fact that just ended the episode.
All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Speaking of useless facts, I did hear one that was pretty interesting. So, if you make $32,000 a year in the United States, you are technically considered the top 1% in the world. Which is considered like poverty in the United States. So, if you're poor here, you're still better than 99% of the rest of the world population.
Is that like outside of New York State?
Yeah, that's the world. So if you make $32,000 in the world a year, you are top one in the entire world. That's obviously accounting for extremely poor countries. But like, that's still wild to think about. That $32,000 a year is what? $12 an hour? $7? No, $12 an hour, right?
I don't. You're asking me a math question? Are you out of your mind? We gotta ask Patreon for that. They're the ones that. They're the good ones at math.
So 12 times 40 times 52.
yeah.
24.9. What did I say? 32?
Yep.
Let's do it the backwards way. So 32,000 divided by 52
Yeah. Reverse engineer.
divided by 40. So $15 an hour gets you $32,000 a year. So if you make $15 an hour right now, which is the minimum wage, circle back. Some states' minimum wage puts you in the top 1% of the rest of the world's population. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, Walmart just increased their minimum wage to $14 an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And would you say they would need 15?
$15 an hour to
Well,
make
15
you.
is isn't that the new norm in like New York City?
Yeah.
Yeah, as of this year, right? January 2023. Okay.
And like you can work at Taco Bell for like $16 an hour, which Taco Bell slaps, first of all. They just put a new one over here. Pretty good.
Isn't there something that doesn't slap?
No. Men, we can't slap. Oh my God. Actually, speaking of slapping, have you ever seen those slap competitions?
Yeah.
Did you see
In
the one?
Europe?
Yeah. Did you see the one where that dude's face blew up and he's like, and he looked like the dude from the Goonies and hey, you guys. His like face was blown up out to here. Did you see that one?
No.
Oh, I gotta show it to you, dude. It is insane. You only make $5,000 doing that. If you win, you get $5,000.
Interesting.
If I gave you this is what I was thinking about the other day. How crazy money has evolved because eggs are now $8 a dozen. But how crazy things have evolved that if I gave you $5,000, you're like, thanks. What am I going to do with this?
$5,000?
Yeah, like your immediate thought is to pay off debt. But even that, it's like most people debts expand more than $5,000.
Yeah.
So still $5,000, which seems like a lot of money, doesn't really do much.
Right. It's kind of sad.
It is. Like you
You
can't
know,
buy a
top
house with it. You can't even put a down payment on a house with that.
No, it's
It's
top,
still too less.
it's top 1% problem.
We are superior. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about.
It is.
And you and I then are like the top 0.00001% because of this podcast.
Hilarious. Could you imagine? Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. We'll see. It's, God, that. I mean, next week's useless fact is not even going to come close to comparison.
No. Do you have one already picked
Yeah.
out? Are we doing 2 episodes today or just one?
Of course.
Okay. We're only at 24 minutes, so we got to fill out this episode, though. Do we talk about the thing that doesn't need to be talked about?
With the Bills losing in the playoffs? No. There's nothing to say. Bills lost in the playoffs.
Okay, so real question. Because this seems to be a hot topic. Is our window closed?
No.
Why do people think that our window is closed?
because
There was a
they're
Joe
negative
Burrow.
Bills fan.
There was a Joe Burrow quote where somebody asked him when his Super Bowl window will or when is this Bengals Super Bowl window, and he said,
When I'm not playing.
"When I'm not playing, I'm the starting quarterback. The Super Bowl window is basically never closed." Why does that not apply to Allen? Why are people so harsh on Josh Allen? It doesn't make any sense to me.
It hurts my soul. It hurts my soul.
It is very depressing. Like, since we lost on Sunday, everyone has been in like a slump ever since then, because it's like, seriously, this happened again.
Well, of course. The dude that's been predicting the Super Bowl winners for the last like 15 years and hasn't missed says we're going to win next year.
Is that real though? Because I
Yeah.
saw that meme too, but did he never edited the tweet? He never edited that tweet.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
And he says that the Eagles are winning this year.
Yeah, which is really realistic, especially after seeing the 49ers in their last game.
Yeah.
Yeah. When is the Eagles' next game? Sunday?
Sunday, yeah. I think both games are on Sunday because
Okay.
it's both conference championships.
Okay.
So I find that so hard to believe that he didn't edit it, because I feel like that is something that you would edit.
Potentially. Well, yeah, of course, right? But he didn't. I mean, that's like Nostradamus on another level. That's insane. But he called for the Bills to win next year.
So realistically, next year, we'll talk about this when the draft comes. But before the draft, you're Brandon Beane. First of all, is this a conversation for next week or no?
No.
Okay, so you're Brandon Beane. First of all, Ken Dorsey and Joe Brady are interviewing right now.
Yeah.
Leslie Frazier has not gotten an interview. He probably won't. For some reason, I think his window of being a head coach is closed because he's not a great defensive coordinator. He wasn't a great defensive coordinator in the playoffs. I think there was a stat that said we've allowed 38 points and 417 yards in all the playoffs games that we've played
'cause he's
underneath Leslie
way
Frazier.
too conservative.
Yeah.
Which is annoying because he blitzed constantly against the Bengals and we got zero pressure. Makes no sense.
Yeah. So if you're Brandon Beane and Coach McDermott, what are you doing? Are you changing things up, or are you letting Dorsey, if he doesn't get a head coaching job, are you letting him kind of grow into the position?
They're already letting him grow in the position. Bean already came out and said he's going into his second year. He said that. They're not going to fire Dorsey.
I mean, Dable wasn't good his first year either. Dable wasn't good his second year or his third year either. But, I mean, we were way too one-dimensional this year. Our
Correct.
offense this year lacked jet sweeps. It lacked short passes. It literally consisted of running it 25% of the time and having Allen bomb it 75% of the time. Our crazy games that we destroy teams like Pittsburgh was on a 60-yard pass play and a 98-yard pass play. Like, that was our offense this year. Do you think that that's changing next year with
I
Dorsey?
hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I think that they will better utilize Cook, Hines, and I think we're going to draft a wide receiver.
This wide receiver class is weak, though.
Oh, it's trash, bro. Trash. And I think in free agency, they're going to attack the offensive line.
So you think they're going to attack offensive line and free agency as opposed to wide receiver?
Yeah, they're going to draft wide receiver and safety. And then they're going to attack free agency for offensive linemen. Because Spencer Brown hasn't necessarily worked out. However, he's been hurt and then worked his way back in,
Yeah.
which Bean alluded to. Which
be honest-
a lot of people forgot. Dawkins has played like absolute trash
That's
the
what I was
last
just going to say.
last 5 weeks.
To be honest, Dawkins is not looking like
No.
he's staying either.
No, he played like garbage the last 5 weeks. He has. It's just, it's fact. And Poyer can't literally be everywhere at the same time. So
Yeah.
people are bashing Poyer for no reason. Like, there's no help. He's got emergency players and DBs around him. And we got destroyed by injuries. Sucks that Micah Hyde would have been back if he came back healthy. Like, it. Meaning, if we went to the next round, we would have had Micah Hyde back for the first game for the year, which would have been amazing. Well, it would technically is the third or whatever.
Understood, but do you think that it also is kind of like good to have an offseason to have them recoup and like
Of course, but
back.
we're going to lose so many dudes on defense.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on that? Because
So I listened to I re-listened to our weekly episode when I was talking about signing Poyer. I don't think we're going to sign Poyer anymore. It doesn't.
Me
They're
either.
not doing anything for it.
Bless you.
Thanks. I think Poyer and Singletary walk. I think we're signing Edmonds, which is a different conversation I want to have. Milano we have for a year, I believe.
I think 2, right? Because he signed
1
a
or 2 years.
4-year.
I hope so.
He signed a 4-year deal 2
He's
years ago.
everything.
Yeah.
When we lose Milano, we're screwed.
Yeah, agreed.
We're screwed. So we'll see how that goes. But
Edmonds is technically the defensive play caller, though, right?
yeah,
He wears the dot.
yeah.
So I guess
And I know he's young.
from an
He's just-
Edmonds standpoint, he's a
golly.
good play caller. He's a good dude that like changes plays up. I remember there was a game this year where was it against Kansas City that we won, where Mahomes called an audible and Edmonds called an audible right after that, and it was the perfect audible to directly attack what Mahomes was doing, and it was insane. He's a smart dude.
He's super.
My
I mean,
problem-
he graduated in 3 years. We know he's smart.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have that, like, he's still growing into his skin with confidence. It's like, dude, just fucking attack a couple times. You know, like, you've had 3 hits all season that made me stand up and scream and cheer for you because you're finally playing like linebacker when Milano's had like 45. Like, bro, be a savage.
Yeah.
You're the middle linebacker in a 4-3 defense. Like, be a savage.
Yeah.
Like,
The thing that always comes back to me when people say that Edmonds is a good linebacker, I start questioning it because, oh, you're bringing out the hard cider, huh? Don't go chai. That's lame.
obviously, I'm immediately putting it down.
Yeah. There's a play that comes to mind, and maybe you know it because I know that we've talked about this before, but there was a run play, or maybe it was a wide receiver screen play where Milano ran directly into either a pulling guard or a tight end. And no, it was a pulling guard because the pulling guard destroyed Milano. He put him right on his ass. And then Edmonds literally ran directly to the same dude and tried to push him. It's like, dude, you're not even trying to evade this block. You are running directly into defenders, which is not helping at all. It's hurting because you're just running directly into them. Like, try to tackle the guy. Don't try to run into the same guy that destroyed Milano.
The problem that I have with Edmonds is that he cannot cloud and clear to save his life. And it's not easy. It is not easy to do. I play the position. I fully understand it.
What are you drinking there, bud?
This is Shout hard cider,
Pass one over.
and it's from Clarksburg Cider Co. Obviously. Hold on.
We just have stuffs here. Thanks, bruv. Appreciate you.
No problem, bruv.
40 quid, love.
6,000 quid, love. Let's try this.
So what's your issue
This
with
is
Edmonds?
made from apples. He can't cloud and clear.
Can you explain that to people that don't know?
Yeah. So
I mean, we went from Scotch in a salt turn barrel, a terribly malted Kentucky bourbon, to then a hard seltzer, to a hard cider.
It's-
So we're gonna throw up tonight.
it's for science. It's for science. Okay. So cloud and clear.
Not too tart, not too sweet.
Okay. So you have the offensive line in front of you, okay? Offensive line's in front of you. You're going to have to follow me for this a little bit because if you don't know X's and O's, it's kind of complicated. It's a run play, not a pass. It's a run play. Say it's a run to the left and they're trying to get to the sideline and they're trying to get the edge and go all the way around all the offensive linemen, okay? When you're playing linebacker and you see a run, the first thing you do as a linebacker at the start of every play is what's called a read step. A read step is a short 1 yard lead with your foot step. So you take a, I'm going to demonstrate with my hands. So what are you new? All right. So my hands are my feet. Okay. A read step is a 1-2. So I'm going to diagnose the play and figure out what's going on as a linebacker. So, and I know we're going to get comments for this, but you take your read step as a linebacker. I always led with my right foot, left foot followed, and I basically just take my read step, see what's going on, diagnose the play. I see that it was a hatchback toss, right? Running back out the ball, he's running to the right. I'm playing middle linebacker. I'm now bolting to the right. Edmonds' problem is, in my eyes, when I watch him play, is he gets caught up in the blocks with the offensive linemen that they either chip, they pull, say there's a pulling guard, or the guard comes up, blocks the defensive tackle, sheds that block, and then works their way up to the second level. He doesn't have the ability to shed blocks to save his life, so he gets caught up in all of that traffic. Milano, on the other hand, can shed blocks. Ray Lewis shed blocks. John Lynch shed blocks. Jordan Poyer shed blocks. All these guys, right, like throughout the years of watching football, that's why I named John Lynch, they can get rid of that person and they can cloud and clear. So cloud is all of the traffic. They can clear that, meaning shed the blocks, expose themselves, and then make the play on the ball, i.e. make a tackle. Edmonds can't do that. So he does his read step, and then he gets caught up in the traffic, and he can't shed a block to then cloud and clear, whether it's you're ripping through the lineman, you're swimming over a lineman, you're physically strong enough to move a lineman off of you to then flow with the play to then get to the right side. And then because you have defensive linemen, you have cornerbacks, you have potentially a nickel corner coming down, you have a safety coming down because they all see that it's a run play now. So all of that's happening, trying to force it back into the inside to you because you're the inside linebacker. All that support's trying to force the play back inside so they can't get the edge. You're trying to seal the edge. So when that doesn't occur, Edmonds gets caught up. Does that make sense, Derek?
It does.
So he's literally just caught up in all of the traffic, and he can't shed that block, and he can't cloud and clear. He can't get out of that traffic. It just drives me insane.
I think that drives most people insane because that is...
It's elementary.
And you see that every single play. Like, you see him do that, and you're like... Even if you don't know football, you still understand the concept of, dude, what are you doing?
Yes.
This isn't bad. It's just different than what we've been drinking all day.
we're savages right now. I just need some juice. The Bills lost. I can't handle it. So, yeah, Edmonds can't shed a block to save his life to get to the ball to make a tackle. When he does make a tackle, it's hit or miss. Sometimes he's dragged for a couple yards, right? Like, there's no veracity. It's like, he's just, And then, out of nowhere, he makes a great read. He follows the flow of the ball. He's got great instincts.
And he's fast as shit.
Yeah, quarterback throws it in the flat. Bam! Just hammers him, Derek. Incomplete pass.
Dad, what are you doing?
I know. Now Sam's staring at me. He's like, "What's going on?" He's all juiced up. Right? Like that's he's in the shot. I know, but I love you too. That's the part that just that fires me up. And then you get McDermott standing on the sidelines, he's clapping.
Yeah.
You know, like that's football. It's not enough. Like those plays need to happen all the time. It's like we're not flying to the ball anymore. We're just flat.
I want to ask you a question next week about McDermott because there's been a lot of people calling for his job.
he's
So
safe.
don't say anything now.
He's safe.
Don't say anything now. We'll talk about it next week. So thank you everybody for tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's discussion, especially around the enlarged dude that I would not be able to fit into his pant skin, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know down below if you ever heard of that fact before, because I can tell you right now I have not. And check out our Wednesday Whiskey Reviews, where we reviewed Glenmorangie in a Saw Turns Barrel and Woodford Reserve's Kentucky Single Malt, or Kentucky Straight Malt Whiskey. So check those out. If you do drink with us in these episodes, which you probably should, please remember to always drink responsibly. Good person. And Michael.
Do not litter.
We're out.